My makeup looks good today. That's a good feeling. Hey, I'm Courtney. I just turned 29 and I'm going to show you some clips about that, but I'm also going to talk about my experience with EMDR therapy and how it's changed my life dramatically.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2.
So my birthday was pretty rainy, I'm not gonna lie. That was like the one really downside to my birthday, and it always is because it's, you know, it's August, so it's summer, it's hot, which does not make me the happiest. It's also raining, which does not make me the happiest. I'd rather it be like a cool, crisp autumn day, but you know, you take what you can get. So my birthday was really great though. My husband did a lot of surprise planning and put a lot of effort into it, and he did so well. We ended up going bowling, which I'll share some clips. I did good, and he just happens to film when I'm not doing well, which is kind of like the story of our lives. I do the same to him. I feel like we just catch each other always being goofy, which luckily we still love each other, and that's what counts, but we apparently can't take each other very seriously, or it's just not gonna work. So some clips from bowling. I also have a couple clips. I went to an arcade because I love games, of course. I'm also slightly addicted to the coin machine games. So I learned pretty quickly that I need to do those last because I don't know. They have some at this arcade specifically that give you tickets for the coins, not just like, you know, you have to collect the cards and turn them in for tickets. You actually get to shoot the coins where you want them, and then when the coins drop in, you get tickets for those coins, which is a new level of excitement for me, because usually I just play until I get cards and I'm like, oh, you know, I've gotten a few cards, I'm done. But when you're constantly getting tickets for the coin machine, it almost makes it more addicting, which I didn't know was possible. Honestly, I thought all the coin games were fun, and this one actually turned out to be my favorite coin game.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, do some good, some food for you. Step 3, grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds.
I really wanted to step out of my comfort zone for this birthday. I really kind of made it a point to myself to go dancing somewhere. And I don't dance in front of people generally. I dance in front of my husband or my mom, or like silly goofy dances, right? But I've never just gone dancing. So that was really fun. I did it and I was brave. Not many other people were dancing, which makes it more awkward, I think. But luckily my husband's a goofball and we just danced and had fun. And no, it was actually great. I felt anxious when I got sweaty, which is a common occurrence, but it's August, so I pretty much felt a little anxious the whole day, but in a good way, an excited way, more so than like needing to hide in a bathroom kind of way. So it went well. It went better than I expected, especially the dancing and the bowling. Everything was a great time, and I'm only able to do all this, I should clarify, I'm only able to do all this because of the journey I've taken so far with therapy and different types of therapy, and especially EMDR therapy. So I've watched YouTube since I was probably, 10, 11, right? Everybody's been on YouTube, I feel like, for a long time now. And I always thought it was funny when creators had anxiety, but yet they had this like ability to create videos. I thought that was amazing. But some reason it like encouraged me that maybe I could do it, but I also felt kind of in my head like, well, maybe they just have, less anxiety. Maybe my anxiety is worse than that, maybe that's why I can't seem to put myself out there, or, sometimes even like leave the house, or learn to drive. Maybe my anxiety is different. And I agree, everybody's anxiety is different, and everybody's anxiety shows up in different ways, and nobody's is worse or better than anybody else's, right? That's not how I feel or anything. I just felt a disconnect with how people with anxiety acted and how I acted, because it felt like I had no ability to live life normally. And it wasn't, I've done exposure therapy, of course. For a long period of time I was agoraphobic, so I did not leave the house very much, and it took a lot of exposure therapy to get back up to leaving the house consistently. And I still struggle with social anxiety, I struggle with general anxiety, things that pop up and whatnot. I've done therapy since I was about 13 years old, and it's been 13 years total probably that I've done therapy. I've done a lot of talk therapy, but I've also done CBT and DBT. So I've done it pretty consistently, and I've done everything it feels like under the sun therapy-wise. And I got to this point where it felt like nothing was working. And that's partly because it wasn't. I learned all these techniques and everything like that, and nothing was helping me. It felt like I could get rid of thoughts, I could distract myself from thoughts, but there was this constant hovering amount of depression and anxiety that I could not get rid of. And it wasn't just, and it didn't just have to do with anxiety and depression. I think I'm always going to have anxiety, and I've learned different ways to combat that. And I'm always going to have some levels of depression here and there. But what really I didn't notice I was having was this core belief about myself that I was worth less than other people. This core belief that I was lazy, this core belief that I was kind of a burden. And so it was weird, because I didn't know I had those beliefs until I started EMDR therapy. And we identified some memories that were negative for me, and I had to figure out and do some research on myself about why they were negative. What did they make me believe about myself? And it really opened my eyes, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know I had this negative self-belief. I really just thought I was different from most people. I had anxiety, I had depression, so that made me different. And those things still exist. Anxiety and depression still exist in my life, but I don't have this horrible feeling of not being enough, or like I'm not good enough to post like a YouTube video. So when I say it's changed my life, what I mean is I'm now posting YouTube videos, which, if you knew me, is very new. It's not normal. It's not my normal, I would say. So my life has changed because of EMDR therapy. And what it is basically, I'm not going to try to say it because I can't say half of it. You bilaterally stimulate yourself and either replay different memories that you have, whether that be traumatic or negative memories in general, and you replay them and try to pretty much change that core belief you felt because of that memory. What my core beliefs are going to be very different from what yours are, so I'm not going to go too deep into mine just because I don't want to influence anybody else's thoughts about themselves or what they could be feeling. But basically you identify these core beliefs about what this memory is causing you to feel. So you change them. You tap in these positive thoughts, you tap in these more helpful thoughts, you tap in pretty much anything that kind of combats this negative belief or negative thought you had about yourself or that you felt about yourself. And I found that tap-ins really worked for me outside of just therapy. I did tap-ins probably 3-4 times a week, and I do them consistently now. And tap-ins are basically when you tap bilaterally your feet and your hands and you think about positive things, and maybe you think about 1 or 2 negative thoughts that you want to replace with these positive thoughts. And again, for me, it worked wonders. Like within 2 sessions, I noticed a big difference in how I felt guilty about spending money on myself. And that was because of a certain memory I had, and that I had to kind of tap out. I like calling it that, tap out that memory and replace it with a more positive thought and thought process behind it. And within 4 sessions, which is where I'm at now, I already feel more confident. I feel like I have more self-worth that didn't exist before. I didn't ever think I was going to get to a point where I could make YouTube videos or put myself on the internet for criticism or for people to what I thought was going to laugh at me. But I've gotten to the point where I feel comfortable in myself and I feel confident in myself in a way that I haven't felt before, even though I still have anxiety and I still have, you know, some hints of depressive days and whatnot. I'm still a changed person because this weird core belief I had of myself has been changed in such a positive way. And so when you think about whether EMDR is going to work for you, I really recommend that you get a therapist and you do the assessing period. I do not recommend you just jumping into EMDR therapy. I don't think it's something that you should jump into if you have like a very bad headspace right now, or if you feel like bringing up certain memories and thoughts are not going to be positive for you. I feel like it's not going to be helpful for everyone, but I do recommend at least getting assessed for it, finding a therapist that is very well versed in it, because it does help to have somebody who is going to actually take the time to make sure that you're in a good place for it and is going to do it correctly with you. It's odd, but EMDR therapy makes you feel tired. I'm not gonna lie. After you do EMDR therapy, you feel like you've ran a marathon. You need like water, you need protein. They tell you this, and there's a reason for it. You put your body through this movement and this like memory so deeply. My mom thought it was like hypnotism because the process you do does kind of feel different from regular therapy, and I think that kind of scares some people. But I just want to tell you that it works. I don't know the science behind it, and I really recommend you like researching it on your own, like finding actual people with doctorates talking about it, because I'm not qualified. I'm just telling you my experience with it has been really great and really positive, and I don't know the science behind it all the way. I've read about it, but I don't feel qualified to give you a lecture on what it is. All I know is that I had great results, and I really recommend it for anybody who's struggling with something they can't name, is the best way to put it. It's this core belief, but you don't know that until you've done the work to find out what that core belief is. It's like this hovering thought, this hovering cloud of feelings that you feel constantly, but you don't know why. You're not having them consciously. You're not thinking about them on a conscious basis all the time, but it just feels like there's something back here that's holding you, something back here that's impacting you, and it's hard to describe it. Before I did EMDR therapy, I don't know that I would describe it as a core belief, but that's what I felt shifted me when I did EMDR. So that's probably how I'm going to continue saying about it, is a core belief shift. So I really recommend it. And I hope that anybody who's thinking about it really takes the leap to learn and research about it and find someone who is going to help you on this journey, because it's worth it. When I say that, I truly mean it. I've watched people on YouTube my whole life. I've seen people who have anxiety, and it never felt like my kind of anxiety. It never felt like my kind of depression, because I had this weird feeling that like mine was different from other people's. It didn't feel the same. It didn't feel like DBT, CBT, talk therapy, nothing worked. So if you feel that way, maybe look into EMDR therapy, look into people near you who kind of provide it. I do it online, and I find that it works just as well for me as probably if I went into a session in person. I don't feel like I have any negative issues with it, but again, I was in a good headspace and I was ready and prepared with my happy place. Which EMDR therapy, before you embark on it, you're going to create like a happy place that you visit pretty consistently when you're feeling overwhelmed or you have negative memories or thoughts that pop up. And you're going to have a receptacle that you talk to your therapist about. It's where you put your negative thoughts, your memories, anything that pops up after EMDR therapy that you feel like you want to talk to your therapist about. That's what the receptacle is for. If you watch this video, I really hope you feel hopeful again. I hope it gives you something to look forward to ask for from your therapist or from a new therapist, whatever you need to do to find it. It's not right for everyone, so if it's not right for your journey, don't feel discouraged. There's other things. I just found that this is the only thing that's really has made such an impact on me. It's the most substantially impactful therapy I've ever done, which is a really good feeling, because I feel like I finally made progress on myself, on my thoughts, my core beliefs. I feel changed. It's a very good feeling.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, Get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be.